everybody, and welcome back to another big review. Oh my goodness! We have the lovely Lilith, the Bishoujo Kotobukiya figure. It is continuing in the Darkstalkers line. Since I have the other two, I wanted to get, of course, the third, and then continuing the series, especially because I also like Lilith's design as well, because I just think she looks cute. So, let's take a look at the outside of the box. As per normal Bishoujo Kotobukiya, these figures, there's the nice little Batman window. This is particularly for the Darkstalkers one. They have the Batman logo. And I know it's not Batman logo, but bat. They have a picture of the actual figure on the back, and then some little bonus of the other girls, just bonus art. The actual drawing, the concept art, which is always so gorgeous, so beautiful. And then the front nice fancy window with the seal and all the other information on it as well. And then on the top, we have another Batman window and all the unimportant labels and things on the bottom that I don't know how to read. Let's open her up. Whee! Yippee! Wow! Doo-doo-doo-doo! Boom! So first off, just so you can get a little look-see here of the actual clamshell. Nothing super fantastic. I mean, there's never really anything that interesting, but so you know. And the inside little fancy decorative background, it's another moon. The other two also had moons, but one had a blue background, one had a purple background. This one is really cool looking though, because the red and the blue are like really nicely contrasted. It's the moon. You take the moon and you take the moon and you take the moon. All right, well, she is nicely packaged. She's got a little foamy behind her head, two wraparounds, a little protective piece in between one of her arms and her head wings, and big bubble wrap on her big wings. Alrighty, so we have the amazing Lilith out of the box. And of course, she looks great. I mean, she looks fantastic. The red is so gorgeous. I mean, look how shiny it is and like how it perfectly is capturing the light. Especially with the contrast of like her lilac purple, both in her hair, her arm sleeves, and on her tights. I just love it. And also, I mean, the red stripper shoes, the boots, it's just great. I'm really excited. She looks fantastic. Now, before we go and look at like the actual close-ups, measuring. I don't know why. It's so hard for me to remember to measure my figures, and then I'll post the video and everything, and I'm like, oh, I never measured it. And then I just pretend like it doesn't exist because I don't want to. But I'm measuring her today, okay? Her height is just around 9 inches. The width of her wingspan, just around 7 inches, give or take. Her actual base itself, that I would say has a diameter of 4 inches, and nothing else extends beyond the base except for the wing. So, I didn't forget this time. Woo! Anyways, let's actually look up close at her here. Alrighty, so first for Lilith, we have her fantastic face. The Bishoujo figures, they all have really great prints on them. I think they do a good job of just adding the right amount of expression for the characters, but they do really nice decals for the eyes. It's not super shiny, but it's got a little bit of a shine to it. They usually use not a straight stark black for the eyelashes, but they'll do like a dark brown. You can see her eyebrows peeking underneath are a little bit of like a purpley brown, not again just a flat brown, which is so great. It just looks good. Her lips have a nice little bit of gloss on them and just a little bit of teeth showing. And look at her little smile. Oh, she just looks so good. And then as well, she has her super cute lilac hair. It's got just a nice touch of pink in there to just not make it quite as dark as some of the tones that we see on her tights and her arm pieces. I really like the way the hair looks. I think they did a good job of just softening the actual highlights. Now, some of the pieces do look a little less crisp. So stuff like in here, I think could have been done like a little bit better there. Definitely not the worst that I've seen. However, it's the most noticeable part on this figure that I can see so far. And then there's the back of her hair. You can't really see it because it's covered up by her hands, but there is some hair peeking out underneath. Now, since we're here, her hands are both behind her head. I think the fingers look great. You can see there is just a little tiny bit of gloss on them. You know I love glossy nails. I like how it was shaded. There's a nice touch of shading like just at the tip here and then underneath in the crevices of her hands. I'm gonna flip her up really quick so you can see on the top part as well. Like you can see that bone sticking out and it was highlighted just ever so nicely. I think that looks fantastic. Oh, and you can see too, actually, I like that. It's small, but there is a little bit of wrinklage on the parts where her wrists bend. They really did a good job of using like this kind of warm pink for some of the shadows and then like highlighting and then still going back into like this cool purple tones when we get into other shadows. So it's adding a lot. I love to see that. I mean, you can see all the different folds in her arms here. It's just really great. And all the wrinkles and stuff, like we got another wrinkle here. Her little head wings. This shiny red looks really, really good. I mean, it's picking up every single light and I enjoy that in this case because I just love how much it contrasts with like the soft lilac-y purple. The little wing dings she has on top I think are done better than the ones that Morgan had. I think one of hers was a little bit funky and a little bit lopsided. I just really love to, again, you can see how nicely shaded the red is. There's like a deep kind of maroon red on the bottom of the wing and like in these like the arm parts. And then there is a lighter red here. And then we get back to the darker red. So they did a really good job of shading this. And on the inside, so they didn't just do a flat black. It's a little bit harder to see on these little wings. We're gonna see it a little bit later on the big ones, but they use like a green black on the inside. Not to mention they did a really clean job of getting the red on the like little wing fingers. It just looks good. They did a really good job so far. We're only at the top. We haven't even gone to this part yet. All right, so moving a little bit on down. I haven't talked about it yet, but the big fluffy fur. Ooh, it looks great. I don't know how many times I'm gonna say that, but you're gonna hear it a lot. The lilac and like kind of warm lilac is added into the white fur here. And the way that they painted the white, it's almost got a transparent feel to it. Even though it is still like fully opaque, you can't see through it. It just gives it a nice fluffy texture, you know? And then her chest, the actual neck has a little bit of pink and it's really nicely sculpted where her clavicle is and like all the neck parts and tendons, etc. Like, look at that. Ooh, ooh. She's got a little bit of skin peeking out in her little diamond window. Not a lot to show, but you know, it's there. Yeah, and look how many, you can see all the muscle and then even like where the skin folds here just looks really, really good. And then her actual bodice, her leotard, it also, of course, like everything else on here, looks fantastic. Like, I mean, look how shiny and red that is, but it's still highlighted really well. I mean, you can see that there's like the dark shading here with that kind of maroon color back again. Just kind of helps exemplify some of the actual sculpture. It just helps the wrinkles look nice and wrinkly. I will say this one, I know it's supposed to show under her rib cage, but I feel like it's a little too intense, especially depending on what lighting you get it in. I feel like it could have just been a little too heavy on the airbrush, you know, like chill out a little bit, but it's fine. They're just trying to make it look even deeper. Makes it look skinny. So around the top on like the chest piece and down on the leotard part, you can see it's kind of small, but they do actually have the like sewn lines of the outfit. So like if this was sewn in real life, that's the seam on there, like which is a really nice touch because it doesn't need to be there because this is a figure, an anime figure at that, but it just helps add again that nice little bit of texture. And oh my gosh, the back looks fantastic. It's mostly covered up by the wing, so it is a little bit hard to see, but you can still see like the actual backbone lines and the muscle lines, as well as, again, all the wrinkles that we have. It just looks great. All right, and the wings. Look how good the wings look. I mean, they looked really good on the small ones, and the big ones they can just do an even better job with. So I think they look great. You can see more of what I'm talking about with this kind of like green gold. I think it's maybe more yellowish, but because it's mixed with the black, it's making it look green. But it just, again, adds like that extra bit of highlighting that I don't think we could have gotten if it was just a flat black. If we look at the backs of the wings, ooh, that shiny red. Oh, so good. So good. Look how nice and big and shiny and bright the red is. Not to mention, again, all of the nice deep shading that we see on the wings as well. They were able to go a little bit deeper. Like, I mean, this is a nice deep maroon, and they kept it where this is also just darker on the actual arms. I guess that's what they are, the arms of the wings. They do still feel kind of like the most fragile piece because this is a very hard plastic, where the rest of it feels much softer, so keep that aware. And we're moving down again, the lovely, nice lilac legs. Now these are kind of more of like a periwinkle blue. They're getting further away from lilac because there's a lot more blue than pink in it, but it looks great. There's already the booty all the way out. I mean, come on, you guys. It's kind of hard to hide on these figures, you know? But they look fantastic. I mean, look at the shading on the back of the leg, and then all the bats. I really love the way they did the bats on her leggings. They almost feel kind of ghostly with the way that they were colored. There's almost like, again, that kind of transparency feeling, but it's not transparent because it's literally just painted on. But the amount of color that they used is just right, where it feels like it's moving through the mist or something. That sounds really fruity, but I just like the way they look. I don't know. I feel like these bats came out really, really well. And I mean, all the shading on her legs is fantastic. I mean, look at it. We got shading up here again. It's just good. It's good soup. And last but not least, for the general look around me, look at her boots. They look so good. They are so shiny. And again, the nice maroon shading along with the fantastic wrinkles at the ankles. Not to mention we have like those cool seam lines again that we see. Like, she's got like a little bit of structure into her shoe. They added like these little ridges that kind of match the top of her boot. They got nice sharp pointy toes. That's how you know it's fashion, baby. But the boots are great. I mean, come on, you can't go wrong with a red boot. And her base matches Morgan's. It is a little bit odd that Felicia's didn't match too. I don't know, maybe if it's like a theme. It looks great. Hers is more matchy with Lilith than it was for Morgan. So, all right, well, no kitties visited, so no coins today. However, there's booty, y'all. We couldn't ignore it even if we wanted to, but we get to look at it again. I'm always going to end the video with the little booty shot at the end. I mean, there's great wrinkles, it's good shape, good shading. Look at all the highlighting and the shadows. I mean, gosh, my goodness, you guys, it's just all there. It's all out, you know? All right, well, this has got us to the end of the video. I got all the girls out because there's only, the three of them and my little tiny baby here who could fall apart if I breathe on her. Lilith looks fantastic. I mean, I really love Morgan and I love her design and I love the expression that she has. However, the actual painting that they did on Lilith looks so good. Especially, I don't think Morgan was bad. I don't think Felicia was bad. But Lilith's looks good, basically top to bottom. The only thing, obviously, I mentioned it, I think the hair could have been done a little bit better. I think that's, again, just Kotobukiya has a weird paint thing. Sometimes I vibe with it, sometimes I don't. And I do think that the hair suffered a little bit comparatively to the other girls. It's a very, very small nitpick. She still looks fantastic. And like the shine on her wings and her boots just blows Morgan's out of the water. And then like all the lilac-y colors were just really nice and soft, like just the perfect amount. So I think it just looks great. I mean, look at the difference in the shine on these. I do think for Morgan, they did kind of go for more of a matte gloss instead, or semi-gloss, instead of the ultra supreme glossy gloss boots the house down that we have for Lilith. If you want to see more pictures of the lovely Lilith, you can check out my Instagram. That is at Desunasis. I also have pictures of both the Morgan and the Felicia posted on there as well, so you can take a closer look at those. Not to mention, I have a nice lovely double feature for the Morgan and the Felicia. I got them at the same time and reviewed them at the same time, but they both look fantastic. They look great, so highly recommend checking it out, and I'd appreciate it if you did. And there's all these other great, fantastic places that you can find me as well. Most notably, I got my Patreon where I upload these videos earlier and in full. It just knocks you away. I also have my Discord where we hang out, we chat, sometimes we watch movies, we just have a good time, and it's just fun. I'd love to see you there. And if you like my videos, you should stick around. I post videos pretty regularly, or I'll even do streams. If we take a look over to the side here, I have a bunch of figures waiting to be opened, which will most likely be on a stream because Nendoroids take way too long to open, and I just don't have the patience to edit those videos anymore. And well, I think that's it. Maybe I should pick her up. I hope that you had a great rest of your last week, and I hope you have a great rest of your next week, and I'll see you guys all later. Bye!